Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today we do have a double upload, and there's been a lot of news that has been going on last night, and I have to go with it all over you guys. It's all of the LA Valiant. We're finally getting all of the leaks. We're coming near the end where it kind of feels like the roster's about to get renounced, so it could happen any minute now. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got all the leaks coming from the man himself, Halo of Thoughts. And we're going to go on the first leak he talked about earlier yesterday. It was, according to sources, the LA Valiant are supposedly set to sign Showcheng. Now, we'll say before we jump into all of this, I actually don't know that much about these players, but I'm doing some research before I've made this video. And what I've seen so far is they do have some good results. This whole team looks like they play together. I'm looking at the results. They're all like 4th, 3rd, 2nd, some 1st, and most recently 5th through 8th. So there's some ups and downs. And Showcheng's role, if you do not know, is actually off tank. Now, on his Wikipedia page, it's a mix. It's flex DPS, it's off tank. The most recent games I've seen him play is off tank. So this is definitely up in the air when you look at his Wikipedia page, but I think if it's the most recent heroes he's been playing, he's probably going to be a off tank player, but there is definitely a chance where he can play the flex DPS, but at the same time, wouldn't make that much sense because they already do have 2 flex DPS players, and we'll be talking about that later. So when I look at this signing so far and looking at public opinions, it seems like a decent signing. Not that bad, probably the best players they could have gotten, and definitely an Overwatch League level player. So I'm definitely excited to see what this player does in the Overwatch League. So far, what I'm seeing is that he could end up being good for the LA Valiant. Then on to another one that was rumored many months ago, but now officially leaked. Halo of Thoughts says, according to sources, Krystal has also been signed to the LA Valiant, obviously previously from the Spark and previously from the Charge. He is obviously a flex DPS player. Now, if we go off of his Overwatch League performances, this guy is going to be good. Very flexible of a player. We saw this guy play Bastion multiple times from Genji. He's played multiple heroes in the Overwatch League. Now, he didn't play for a really long time, but he got some moments and he looked really impressive. Now he got his time at Contenders and he also impressed people there. And this guy will probably be a good flex DPS player coming into next season, and I'm definitely excited for that. He's going to be in the LA Valiant, but there is some pros and cons to this. I already listed the pros. He's going to be a good player. He's very flexible of a player that will take LA Valiant pretty far, probably. Now, the cons is can we trust this guy? Because if you guys do not know, back on the Hangzhou Spark, he basically kind of lied to his team and just kind of sat out without telling anyone. Then he went to the Charge. He kind of sat on the bench. He didn't do that himself. I think the Charge kind of did that, and they didn't really need to use him. But he got more Overwatch League experience being on the Charge, probably being on the bench, and also dealing with the holding on the Spark. So this is kind of his redemption to show that he can be in the Overwatch League, that he is trustworthy being on the LA Valiant. And I hope he does come through because what I saw of him on the Hangzhou Spark was very impressive. Really impressed me that what he can do, and I hope he brings that to the LA Valiant because this will probably be the best player on the LA Valiant, but he just needs to be trustworthy. Now onto this next leak from Halo of Thoughts. He did do some mistakes here with the roles of the players, but I will be going over the actual roles of these players. So basically, he has leaked that the LA Valiant will be signing Hybe, Molanrin, and also Silver 3. So Hybe is actually a off tank, and you have Molanrin, who is also a flex DPS, and Silver 3, who is a main tank player. And with the little research I've done so far is that Silver 3 will probably be near the bottom of main tanks in the league. I have not heard that many good things so far when it comes to Silver 3 as a main tank. Could he come through, though, being on the Overwatch League? Potentially. But what I've heard so far is that Silver 3 will probably not be the best main tank. Then you have Molanrin. I've done some research here and there. He seems like a solid flex DPS. And then you have Hybe, who I've heard many things from as an off-tank player, but who will end up starting? Is it going to be Showcheng or is it going to be Hybe? That's my question right now. So far, what I'm hearing, it may be Showcheng, but anything can happen. You have all that synergy, potentially, with other tank players. So it's up in the air right now. Then on to the actual head coach being leaked as well from Halo of Thoughts. It is Jumpcat. Now, I've also heard up and down things with this coach, but when I look at his results, I am honestly comfortable. Now, I do not know this guy's coaching styles behind the scenes. I haven't watched all these games live 100% of the time, but when I look at this guy's results, I'm not scared for it because he has done 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd to 4th, most recent 5th through 8th. But all around, when you look at his coaching experience so far, it has been in the top 5 area, which is good. But when you compare it to the Overwatch League, it's going to be a journey for sure for this guy and also this team all around. And before I jump into it a little bit more, I want to say the final things from Halo of Thoughts that is definitely gonna hit us in the heart. But someone asked any word on Diaz, and he responds with Diaz, super rich, and no, Hill will not be joining the team. I don't know how to say those last two, so I could have said them wrong, but the big one is Dia. We all wanted Dia. This was his chance to be on a full Chinese roster once again on the LA Valiant. Going to be potentially the next best player on this team, but he is not going to be on the LA Valiant, which is definitely a heartbreaker. And you have the other two players that have been playing on Team CC and have first in almost every result possible on this. So it's definitely a heartbreaker for the LA Valiant with these other two players not joining, and especially Diaz. So I think these three players would have fit really well on this team, but it's not going to happen. But we are getting news finally on the LA Valiant. Maybe the full roster will be announced anytime soon now. Maybe in the next upcoming weeks, we'll see the new LA Valiant roster. But so far, this is the roster we are looking at. With the two potential off-tank players, we have Showcheng and High B, and then you have the main tank Silver 3, Krystal and Mo Lanrin being both flex DPS players, and the head coach, Jump Cat. Looking at this and looking at all my research so far, I still think they will end up near the bottom of the APAC region still. All these other teams have already had their team for a while now. They're already screaming. Some teams are already getting ready in their places, like the Dallas Fuel has now arrived in NA, and so many other teams like the Houston Outlaws. So all these other teams, I know those two teams I listed are in NA, but that's basically saying that all the teams are getting ready. They are about to scrim. Some teams have already started scrimming. So LA Valiant may already have a team, just haven't announced it yet. So they probably are scrimming. Who knows? But anything can happen now with the LA Valiant. But when I look at this roster and the research I've done, they may upset few teams, but definitely not a lot. I don't think this team's going to get that far. I think that was expected as well, being built very late into the season. So anything's up in the air with this team now. I love to see what they do. Like I said already, not many high hopes for this team so far. Definitely looks like they're on the downside when it comes to the standings, but anything is possible. We said this last year at the LA Valiant, they were going to be the worst team. They ended up coming through as one of the better teams. This could happen again with the LA Valiant with the pickups they have. But when I look at my research so far, Silver 3, which a main tank is a huge part of getting far in the Overwatch League. We see this with many teams in the past. Season 1 with LA Gladiators always takes me back with Fisher. We saw how important a main tank is. So Silver 3, if he's not a good main tank player, this is going to be rough for the LA Valiant. But anything, like I said numerous times, anything can happen with this team. They can get pretty far. They could not get pretty far. But LA Valiant fans have hope. I've already seen some LA Valiant fans have hope so far that this is actually not that bad of a roster as they was expecting. So definitely be excited still if you're an LA Valiant fan, but don't have the highest hopes. Anyways, guys, it's going to be it for me. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.